Hey everybody, how's it going out there? My name is Arndt Arntsen, and we're going to be going into how to comp the chords on Rosetta today. This is in response to a student of mine over the ocean in Taiwan who was asking me about this. We're going to get right into it here. We're going to start off with this voicing, which is an F over C voicing. It's called over C because there's a C on the bottom right there. You got your middle finger right here on your 6th string, first finger right here on your D string, pinky finger right here on your G string. Notice how I've got all the other strings muted, so that when I strum all of my strings, I only hear only 3 of them. The second chord is an C7. I usually choose to do it with my thumb like this, but a lot of people do it this way. Do whichever way is more comfortable for you. I like this way because it frees up my pinky, and I can also get a sharp 5 on there. In this case, it's actually an A flat concert. But anyway, you got your thumb here, first finger here on your D string, your ring finger over on your G string right there on your 9th fret. You got your middle finger right here on your 8th fret of your B string. Or if you choose to do it this way, that's your first finger on your low E string, 8th fret. You got your middle finger right here on your 8th fret of your D string. You got your pinky right here on your 9th fret of your G string. And you got your ring finger right here on the 8th fret of your B string. And then, another easy way to do this is basically to do it the lazy way, which is another way that I like to do it, is your middle finger here, ring finger here, pinky finger here. That way your middle finger doesn't have to change between F over C and C7th. The change is really fast that way. And then I basically just take that shape down. Oops. Wouldn't be a guitar lesson if I didn't drop my pick at least once. Yeah, you've got basically the same shape just down here over in 4th position for a D7th. You can also make it a 7th chord by putting your ring finger over here on your 5th fret of your G string. And then a G7th shape again, which is the same shape as the C, just down over here in 2nd position. And then you can do a C over G right here. And then this is one of my favorite turnarounds, and I use it all the time. Now, what that is that basically it's an F chord over A. It's got an A on the bottom. And you got your middle finger here on your 5th fret, first finger right here on your 3rd fret of your D string, and your ring finger right here on your 5th fret of your G string. And then you just take those 2 fingers and scooch them down. And then you've got your G minor 7 right here, which is middle finger right here, 3rd fret of the E string, ring finger, 3rd fret of your D string, pinky finger right here, 3rd fret of your G string. Again, all of these other strings are muted. I'm only hearing those 3 strings. The nice thing about that change is that you get to keep your pinky finger in the same spot. So changing between there and C7th, this is the C7th shape, by the way, for those of you who don't know it. It's basically, you know, the standard. Anyway, then you can go down to an F bar shape, which I use all the time. Bar chords are not just for rock and roll people. Jazz people use them all the time too. That's another good turnaround in reverse. That turnaround to get back over to that F over A is bar chord F right here. Then diminished. This is F sharp diminished. You got your middle finger, 2nd fret of the E string, 1st finger on the 1st fret of your D string, ring finger, 2nd fret of your G string, and then your 1st finger, this is optional if you want to get fancy, you can bar across and also get a concert C on your B string. That's on your 1st fret there. And then G minor 7th again, and then another diminished passing chord. Yeah. And then into the 2nd A. That's another good move that I like to do, which is basically a standard A-shaped C. You know, it's derived from the A chord. It's just up a few frets. We got our 1st finger on the 3rd fret of our A string, our ring finger on the 5th fret of our D string, and our pinky finger on the 5th fret of our B string. And then you just scooch your pinky and ring finger up 1 fret and scooch your 1st finger up 2 frets. And then do the same thing, another fret, do the same thing, another fret. What that is theory-wise, that's a C, and then a diminished passing chord, a diminished passing chord, and then a C over E. It's just we're not playing the root. There's the root. Now we're going to get into the bridge, and this is where a lot of people get confused with this tune. Basically, we do a minor 2-5 into A minor. Now, what is a minor 2-5? A minor 2-5 is basically assuming that on the bridge, at least at the beginning of the bridge, we're just going to call A minor our 1 chord. So that means a B and an E are our 2 and 5. 1, 2, 5, 1. So, and the way that you can set that up, let's say we're starting here from our F shape that I showed you before, F over C. Then we're going to do this. We're going to do a B minor 7. So that's middle finger on your 7th fret of your low E string, and then your ring and pinky fingers also on your 7th fret of your D and G strings. And then to a standard C shape. You know, this is derived from a C chord. It's just a few frets up. But instead, you're in 5th position here. So that's your ring finger on your 7th fret of your A string, middle finger on your 6th fret of your D string, pinky finger on the 7th fret, and then your 1st finger over on your 5th fret. And then we're into A minor, and there's 2 ways you could do A minor. I like to be lazy sometimes and just do this, which is actually an A over E, because it's got the E on the bottom. It just enables you to just bar across with your 1st finger all across the 5th fret there to grab your high G, B, and E strings, and then your pinky and ring finger get the 5 and the root right there. Some people like to do this way as well, which is also a nice lazy way to make an A minor 7th chord. You got your 2nd finger over on your 5th fret. Your ring finger bars all the way across from your D string, G, B, and E to get the rest of the chord. It's a nice lazy way to do it. It's all about being lazy. So where was I? Oh yeah. And then there's another 2-5. And this is where a lot of people get messed up a little bit. It goes to an F minor. So this is probably the most obvious F minor that you can make, that a lot of people know. It's just a basic big old bar chord. Another way that you can do it is up here. Another way, if you want to get fancy and if you want to go with the chord that's most convenient from this position of A minor 7th, you can do basically an F minor over A flat. That's over the 3rd of of the F minor. It's actually in the shape of an A flat major 6th chord, but who's counting? And then we go to C, and actually a C over G fits really nicely. It leads nicely. Da, da, da. That bass line leads nicely. I kind of like that. And then it goes to a 2-5, a D minor, to a C. That 2-5, by the way, that I just did, that's basically your ring finger over on your 5th fret of your A string, your 1st finger on your 3rd fret of your D string, your pinky on the 5th fret of the G string, and your 1st finger is barring all the way across to grab that B string on the 3rd fret. And then G7th, which again, I cheat a little bit. I like to use my thumb, but if you prefer not to do it that way, here's my way, just for giggles. Thumb on the 3rd fret, 1st finger on the 3rd fret of your D string, ring finger, 4th fret of your G string, middle finger, 3rd fret of your B string. Here's the standard way most people do it, which is 1st finger, middle finger, pinky finger, ring finger. And then there's another way to do it, but omitting that high B string. Middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. That's a pretty good way to do it too. And then we're back at the end of that bridge, we're back to the A again, back to F. Here's a good way to do an F, which is convenient to this area of the neck, which is an F over C. Here's the F triad. Do, mi, sol, but with a C on the bottom. And then if you also want to get fancy, you can have make it a 6 chord by putting a D concert at the top. Or you could go all the way back up here and do an F over C. Or you could do this kind of F too. Or you could do an F9-6, which is also a nice pretty chord. The way that you make an F9-6 is a middle finger on your 8th fret right here of your A string, your 1st finger on the 7th fret of your D string. It also bars across and gets the G string also on the 7th fret, and then your ring finger gets right on the B string right there in the 8th fret. Very a parallel 4th-y kind of 5th-y kind of chord, but it's nice, I like it. And then this standard good old A-shaped, but way up the neck. It's actually your 1st finger on your 8th fret, ring finger on your 10th fret actually, and your pinky finger also on the 10th fret but on your B string. So I'm going to play through the whole song really slowly, doing the more simplified versions of these chords so that you can play along. Here we go. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. To A minor. F minor. Back to F. That's basically it. There was one last progression that I forgot to mention, which is this one that guitarists use all the time. And a did it again in C. So what that is basically standard major seventh, sorry, not major seventh, dominant seventh chord. You got your middle finger here on the 3rd fret of your E string, ring finger, 3rd fret of your D string, pinky finger, 4th fret of your G string. Then you just slide your middle finger up to the 5th fret, which is kind of nice because you don't have to change strings. Your 1st finger goes on the 4th fret of your D string, your ring finger goes on the 5th fret of your G string. You take that same shape and just slide it up another fret, and then you slide up your middle finger and your ring finger, but you leave your 1st finger in place on the 5th fret there. And then you get a G over B, which is an inversion. And you can do the same shape in C. And that's basically blue muck. Okay, I think my video card is running out of space now, so I'm going to try and wrap this up. Just as a preview for further videos, if people like this, then feel free to give it a thumbs up, and maybe I'll make another one soon. Here's Rosetta, but as a chord melody, done in the top 4 strings of my guitar. Alright, thanks a lot for watching, folks, and keep safe out there and keep playing the guitar. Thanks.